Welcome back to Gruber Motor Company podcast. We have a special guest today, Rolf Lohr, who is an early adopter in Arizona, EV adopter. And he is taking a trip tomorrow to Europe, and we thought we would start talking about the
Trip to Europe.
the trip. Yeah, so tell us about it.
And it's the e-cannonball. So like the cannonball, what you have seen in television, but it's for EVs. And it goes about 500 miles through Germany. So this is the fourth time, but all three times before it was, how did you get, in consideration of the rules of the road, the fastest through Germany, including chargers, including charging time. And when I drove with them, with one of my referrals one time, Stefan was it, Dr. Stefan, we made fourth place. Actually, first we made fifth place, and then the number one was disqualified because he was not taking care of the rules, because in some of the areas he was really driving too crazy or too fast.
What vehicles were you driving on this cannonball run?
So I was driving a Model 3 Performance, but there were all EVs there. And there were some handicaps depending from battery size and load condition. So at our area, we had to start with 70% and had to arrive with 30%. The homegrown cars or converted cars or below 40 kilowatt, they can start full and then end up empty. And then the bigger ones, 80, 90, 100 kilowatt, those cars, they had to start with 50% and arrive with 50%. So, and we drove there, and fourth place is not bad, really, because one time, first we were two people, then we had a congestion on the highway, on the German Autobahn. There was a big accident, and a couple of guys got in front of the accident. They drove through, and then we had to leave the Autobahn and then drive through country roads.
A detour.
Detour, but still made it very well. So, and this time the regulations changed, and the regulations changed to what I usually now do, or I always did for the last couple of years, I think since 7 or 8 years, with the exception for the last 2 years because of the pandemic. Our 100 electric miles, you remember that? Yes, we visited your shop always.
Oh, yes, okay. When you guys came through and we had the contest.
And they had a contest, and they had to answer a question about how many Teslas do you have in the store here, or what is the battery size of a Roadster.
And then there were riddles, I remember, and our clock was involved in that. And not everybody got it.
Yeah, not everybody got it, and some riddles. And they do about a similar thing. Now it's going to be how efficient you are driving through Germany, including charging.
Yeah.
And you have to make it within, let's say, 12 hours, the 500 miles. But if you are later than 12 hours, you get too many minus points or too many points. You're basically disqualified. If you are breaking the rules, you're disqualified. You're driving too fast or you get caught.
Yeah.
Driving too fast. And on e-cannonball, e-cannonball, or e-cannonball.de, you can follow up on that event, and you can see all of us driving along from Berlin to Munich by the number, and we are start number 44. I'm driving with a friend with a Chinese SUV, you would believe it.
Really?
Chinese MG, Chinese SUV, 43 kilowatt battery size, but we're taking it easy. Maybe we're grabbing a bus to go behind them, to go in the windshade or so. But we want to make it through. And then during the time, you get also some question and answers. You can get points there, and or to get some points of how many like clicks you get on Instagram or something like that. You get extra points for that, and so on.
So you're actually flying out when tomorrow morning,
I'm
right?
flying out on Thursday morning. I'm flying out Thursday morning, very early in the morning, Thursday morning, and flying out. And there are not many flights now, flying to Seattle and from Seattle to Frankfurt. So, and then I take the train, ICE train, Intercity Express from Frankfurt, directly from the airport to Berlin. Okay. And my daughter is living in Berlin as well. So, and she will take me there at South Cross, Südkreuz, South Cross there at the station there in south of Berlin. And then from there, we pick up an electric car and go to the event. That is the Hotel Van der Valk in Brandenburg. There is where the event is starting. There are regular chargers there and superchargers there at the hotel. Okay. So everybody does not have to be afraid. And we are starting Saturday morning, 6:30. And then every minute or 2 minutes, a car is starting. Every minute. Okay. Get the battery condition or the battery level and get the mileage. And then who has the lowest mileage and the lowest stops can also be a winner, because you should have less stops and less mileage driven. So if you do a whole bunch of detours for looking for chargers and so on, you get minus points as well, because you're consuming more miles than you should, right? Mm-hmm. So
when I first heard Cannonball,
yeah,
here in the U.S., a cannonball is you try to go as fast as you can.
Yes.
I thought of Germany immediately, and I thought, man, no speed limits on the Autobahn. What a dream place to do a cannonball, without any risk of getting a ticket or getting pulled over. But they do not have unlimited speeds all throughout Germany, just to be clear about that.
No.
As soon as you hit a town, the speed limit starts going down, usually to 100 kilometers an hour or so?
120 usually.
120?
120, yeah.
And
that's
then when
75 miles. Yeah.
And then when you see that magic round white sign with the lines through it, you know that there's no speed limit whatsoever.
Yes.
The problem we have is whenever we go, we have rental cars. I don't have any of my performance cars that I have here, which I'd love to transport over there.
Yeah.
But despite that, we ended up with a Volkswagen Passat station wagon turbo diesel.
Oh, wow.
And I got that thing up to 150 miles an hour equivalent on the Autobahn.
It was turbo diesel, yes. Turbo diesel, yeah.
Yeah, turbo diesel. So tell us how somebody will track or be able to track this Cannonball Run Saturday. Is it on the website?
They go on the website, www.e-cannonball.de, and then they get the link and the map of Germany where all participants are and where they are starting and where they got stuck or whatever. And you see about number from 1 to 70. There are bicycles there. There's one bicycle guy who already started a week ago, right?
Right.
But this is more for fun, right? And then there are bikes there, electric bikes. Then there are home converted cars like Ford Mustang. For example, we had a 65 Ford Mustang converted with Tesla batteries and drivetrain to electric.
Right.
And that was the Hero Class winner last year.
Okay.
The Hero Class winner last year.
So, the last time we spoke, you were telling me that the Tesla Model S Plaid that was supposed to run at Nürburgring actually crashed.
Yeah, it crashed. So I think they got the record.
They did. I just read about it a few days ago. They had another Plaid or fixed this one fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And it actually beat the Taycan finally.
Yes.
But the time was not that great, in my opinion. It was 7 minutes and
33 or something like that.
Seconds.
Yeah, but it was beating the time for a full-size sedan, right?
Right.
So it's not for a race car.
Yeah.
Right?
I was watching the in-cockpit video of that run, and you could tell it was a heavy, 6,000-pound family grocery getter sedan trying to do a track. My 2008 ACR Viper was one of the cars that they sent all over the world to do track records because it was one of the fastest track cars at the time. Sticky tires, big wing in the back, and incredible downforce, like 1,000 pounds at 150 miles an hour. Back then in 2008, that Viper did Nürburgring in 7 minutes and 14 seconds, I think. And they got very close to breaking the 7-minute barrier with that car, but never quite made it, from what I recall. But anyway, there you can tell the difference between a track car and a sedan.
Yeah, the 7 minutes is the big barrier on the Nürburgring.
Yeah, I think it's been done though. I think there are some cars.
Yeah.
The fact checkers out there, those of you watching, I'm sure you're going to be able to put something in the notes. But
So yeah, and I would have written a letter to France or to someone and said, hey, if they wouldn't have changed the regulations, I wouldn't have written a letter to them and said, hey, do you have the plate in Germany for me with an adapter for the German charging network? And can I drive the car? Maybe you want to have a driver, I'm driving with it as well. And the other thing is you need 2 or 3 cars, 2 or 3 drivers or 2 or 3 participants, because not only that you have to drive, you have to watch the road, watch the highway for congestion, for traffic, for accidents, and so on. You also have to watch your participants, the other ones, who are on the charger, how busy the charger is, because what does it happen? What happens when you are at the charger and then there is a line of 20 people and you have to wait?
It blows your record, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
you cannot make it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rolf, you've been involved in the EV scene here locally for a number of years, a decade
Yes.
or so.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of history. What got you started? What?
Yeah, what got me started was actually it was Deepwater Horizon that brought the fall, that brought the drum to overflow, because nobody cared about how many oil gets into the ocean there. We just tried to fix that leak there in order to still drag something out of it. And they dragged it out 6 or 8 weeks, I don't know how long they took. And it just was important for them. So how much can we stress the government until they really shut us down, and we have to shut that oil hole down so that it doesn't pollute anymore. So they dragged it out for 6 or 8 weeks, polluted everything what they could in the deep waters there in the Gulf of Mexico. And then and I said, and there's something needs to change. I cannot be a person anymore who still buys their oil and oil products, right, and supporting them. I cannot support them anymore. So what I have to do, I looked around. So what is an affordable car which got converted in electric? So I found Southern Sky, or in Germany it's called Opel GT in the new version.
Oh,
And it was a 2-seater convertible. You could open the roof there, and was a really nice car. And there was a company in Ohio converted it with lithium-ion polymer batteries into electric with 150 miles range.
not bad.
So that's not bad. So then I bought this car.
Now, what year was this?
It was 2007 or 2008.
Okay.
And I bought this car and said, when the lease is over, I pay this car off, and then I send it to conversion. So in the meantime, but there I always looked, I had this project in California, in Santa Clarita, and I drove down 4 or 5, horrible traffic in California, and I went to Santa Monica. And there was the first store of Tesla store in Santa Monica Boulevard. So what did I do? I went into the store, and then I saw the nice Roadster there, and said, oh, awesome car, but 125K is quite some price tag on it. So can I ever afford that or not? Good, I have this car now, but I left my business card there. And they still were calling me up. It was Mr. Schneider. He was the store manager there later. And then I had Frank one time contacted me and said, we have a good offer. We're gonna give you a lease on the car, and when the Model S comes out, you can drop the lease and then you can get the Model S.
Okay.
I said, this is a good offer. And I was still thinking. And then I said, you know what? I do it. And then they said, oh, lease offer is over. And then I said, hey guys, your lease offer is already over. What can we do? No, it's not over. Come over. Come to us. Right? We give you a lease for the car. So then the big time was 2010 in November, I ordered the Roadster. So it was 125K price tag. No? And always people then asked me at that time, oh, how expensive is the car? I just was too shy to say. Just said, just like a small house.
Right, at the time, yeah.
At the time there, yes. Right. So And so I leased the car at that time, and I still liked it. It's because still a sexy car today, right? And I'm still driving the same car, and we can put some pictures in there one time when we have it. So it was a black one with yellow letters. Yellow is the color what Elon does not like at all, but they are gonna attach. They got attached later.
I did not know that. Do you know that Santa Monica store you were talking about?
Yes.
I think that was their first one.
Yes.
The building belongs to one of our customers who owns Tesla Roadster VIN 99.
Yeah.
And Jim Hull is his name.
Yeah.
He tells an interesting story. When Martin and Mark first came to see him to lease that building, they wanted to open their first service center and their first sales store. He looked at the financials and he said, "No way, guys. There's just there's not enough here for me to give you guys this commercial space." The story goes that Elon came back a week later with a satchel full of patents, sat down with Jim, and convinced him that they were a viable company and that he should lease to them. And so Jim made it conditional. He said, "Okay, I'll do it, despite the fact your financials are lousy, but you're going to have to sell me one of your first 100 cars." And he wanted VIN 100.
Yes.
That one went to another one of our customers in Chicago. Well, actually, at the time, a Fresh and Easy guy.
Yeah.
But so they said, "We have VIN 99. He said, "Okay, but you have to paint it a special color for me." So he's into British racing.
Yeah.
They made that one car British racing green, which is kind of a bright, dull, type green. And
Looks like the grass in Great Britain.
yeah, here you go.
That's right. It does. You should put it on the grass. It doesn't. Nobody sees it.
So that store is still in existence. It's still up and running. Yeah.
It's still up and running. And there I looked at the car, and then a guy came out because in Arizona at that time you're not allowed to sell directly from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So what did he do? Frank, he came out to me and said, "I'm going to show you the car." So I had my two-seater on the right side of the garage, and on the left side of the garage there was the Roadster. And he said, "Oh, looks good." So, and he said, he explained the car, and then we took it out and drove it around the block. Mm-hmm. So he charged it also full up. There was 170 miles on the car. Right. I haven't seen that since the last 5 years on my car. So, and he charged us up all the way full, and then we drove around the car, and we said, "Wow!" And we signed it. We signed the lease, and we signed the car, and then we got pictures from that alongside the manufacturing at Lotus.
Really?
So your car is now in body. Your car is now in there. Your car is now in there. Yeah. And here are the pieces and the parts and so on. So they made pictures of that, right? Cool. And now here comes the story. So I ordered VIN number 1172. So, and then I changed my order and changed with the new device, with the new system there, with a new audio system. There was an extra Alpine audio system on it with the navigation and so on. Okay. Right? I changed it from the regular radio to an Alpine. Right. So, and then I changed it also with yellow rally seats and yellow side panels there.
Yeah,
right?
I think we have that picture up, by the way, for the viewers.
Yeah, that's the picture.
It's got the yellow livery decal and
the yellow decal is another story, but they never had a yellow decal.
There's some story that I heard from you once that you actually designed this. Is that true?
No, I asked them, "Can you give me one of those decals?" But I need it in yellow, and they said, "Oh, we don't have any yellow, but here is our guy who made them." So I contacted the guy and said, "Can you make these guys in yellow?" "Yeah, what yellow do you want?" And I sent him the picture, the yellow of the interior, right? I made a picture of that, and then he sent me 2 patterns. Is this or that? Yeah, that is good. And then he sent me the yellow decals. So Tesla gave me the contact of their vendor, and I bought them from him. And then this vendor told me the story about how the decals came across, because they had a press release of this car. And they said, "How do we make it that Tesla is there and it looks a little bit more fancy? You know what? We need a guy put some decals on it, some really nice decals on it." And then they went out to Menlo Park to one of the guys and said, "Oh, you guys, you're doing decals. Come in there overnight. We need decals on the car. You make them, you fabricate them, and you put them on that car, not on this one, but on a Roadster."
Right.
And here's the non-disclosure agreement. Sign this one. And then he made them in the night. He made that pattern.
Right.
And in the night he installed it. And the next morning, when the press release was there, the decals were on the car.
Amazing.
For the press release. And I said, "Can I buy this pattern from you?" And I said, "Yeah, we want to have it? $50. So I bought this pattern from him. I bought this pattern. So if you want to have that reproduced, we can reproduce it to any of the Roadsters.
Excellent. You know, there's a Roadster historian,
Yeah.
Tom Greiner. It's
Yeah.
okay to mention his name. Tom
Yeah.
is actually famous and well-respected in the Roadster community. But he was saying that these decals were typically on the store demo cars.
Yes.
And eventually migrated out to the users because so many people liked them and wanted
Yes.
to continue. Now, we also have a vendor here locally that makes those decals for
Yeah,
us
yeah.
and in a variety of colors. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it does dress up the car. Now, Rolf went a step further. He changed the wheels on this car, and he's got a yellow rim around the tire,
Yes.
which is a problem for us because whenever we do his tire work, we have to carefully take that off and glue it back on. But you know, it does look good.
So yeah, my wheels are 1 inch bigger in the front and 1 inch bigger in the back, and there's also wider tires.
Did you notice a performance change when you did that? Went to larger wheels?
Yeah, the car is more flatter on the road.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And it's more sturdy on the road, also rougher on the road. But also the performance is it has a much better grip
Okay.
on the back. But now with the battery package, which is less than half of the capacity, there's not enough juice coming through.
Yeah. How many miles do you have on your Roadster?
It's now between 95 and 100 miles.
Okay.
On 90%, so right.
Yeah.
On
And then
90% charge.
And then your range in standard mode, I think we were getting around 100 miles or so.
Around 100 miles.
Yeah.
So I wrote to Tesla and said, "Guys, I need a new battery."
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Oh, we don't have any." I went, "You can decide, guys,
Now, when did you write this?
before 10 years are over."
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Before the 10 years are over, and said, "Guys, you have to deliver new batteries because you're obligated according to a law that you have to deliver spare parts within 10 years."
Magnuson Moss.
Magnuson Moss, yes. And they said, "Oh, we don't have any, but we put you on the list." That did not satisfy me much.
Yeah.
So, and please do a battery. Stay to your commitment.
Well, you know, they're
Don't
doing that
forget
now.
the Roadster owners,
Yeah.
because that's about the first one buying your car in order that Tesla can grow.
They're doing that now. The 3.0 packs, by the way, are getting
Yeah.
installed.
Oh,
And
good.
we have 2 customers here locally that have had that done.
Yeah.
And we just got a report actually this morning that the full range charge on one of the new packs ended up being right at 350 miles.
Wow.
So yeah,
I
that
can
was my
drive the
comment.
Cannonball by
Exactly,
one-time
yes.
charging. And there is a guy who was installing a CHAdeMO behind the license plate
Yes,
for that.
Tony
And-
Williams.
Yeah, Tony Williams.
Yeah.
So you can install a CHAdeMO on that one, and I can even DC super.
So you go to superchargers, yeah.
Or fast charge.
Yeah.
DC fast charge up to 45 kilowatt.
So you were invited to a special event when the Model S was unveiled.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was one time it was the unveil, so with a test drive, right? We were there when the Model S was when the Model S was unveiled. We were not there. Then it was when the Model S was shown to the customers. We were not there because I had a project to do. But when in New York, that was at Katrina, when that big storm came over to New York, Katrina, right?
Hurricane Katrina.
Hurricane Katrina. At that time, they had the Motor Trend Car of the Year announcement. And the Model S became, as one of the only anonymous car of the year. And it was such a small event. There were about 100 people there, including Elon, including George Blankenship. He introduced Elon, and also France. France was there as well. I still have that video there, and you can see me somewhere in the video. I still stored that from them. It's a video from them because I downloaded that and kept it on my the hard drive. Maybe I do one time a story for that as well.
So this was a special invitation.
Yeah,
for this event.
special invitation for the signature owners and those ones who had signature cars. And then I had briefly the time to talk to Elon, and then the other reason was, they got the car of the year. The Tesla became the car of the year, beating all cars, Porsche, Daimler, whatever, right? All fuel cars. At that time, only fuel cars. And great event, small people. They had to change the venue just because they have everything laid out, and then the storm Katrina came down, and they had to change the venue, and the place was even smaller.
I see.
So, and that's where I met Elon with his second wife. So she was a little bit jealous on Martina because Martina was so proud on her purple interior.
Oh, the
for her
purple
Model
S.
interior.
Yeah, Martina is, by the way, Rolf's wife, and she's also an early adopter, and she got one of the first Model S's. What VIN is that, by the way?
315.
315. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's one of the signature series.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a picture of her. This was at a Cars and Coffee event here in Scottsdale, Arizona,
Yeah.
which I used to be very active in until I converted from ICE engines over to AVs. But beautiful cars would show up every Saturday, first Saturday of every month, and we would have special events.
Yes.
We actually had 3 Tesla events
Yes.
scheduled. And what that meant is that we would get front and center for a particular type of car, whether it was Lamborghini, McLaren, Ferrari.
Yeah.
And this was one of those events where we had front center. By the way, I invited Elon to one of those events.
Oh, yes.
And he was going to come and then said at the last minute that he was time constrained. But I gave him a glowing report about your involvement in Tesla, and I said, this guy should be your PR manager, because while he was working the crowd here, he had his Tesla Model S there, and we even had a flat screen. I think we
Yes.
have a picture of that, Valerie, if you pop that up.
There was a screen on there.
We got there really early. It was dark, and I remember your flat screen powered off of your car. How did you do that, by the way? Did you have an inverter, or?
No, from the 12 volt, it was an LED 12 volt.
Oh, it was an LED.
LED 12
yeah, so it was
volt.
a 12-volt
Yeah.
flat screen.
Yeah.
Pop up here in a minute. There we
There
go.
it is, yeah. There was
And-
LED around it at Tesla Owners US, and we also drove the electric light parade with that.
Did you?
Yeah, so one time.
So what I found fascinating is all of the gearheads that attend these shows, are
Yeah.
into the exotic cars.
Yeah.
And they were confused and a bit puzzled about what this new type of car, the Roadster, for example, which looked sporty, kind of like the cars they're used to, was going to be all about. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of conjecture and discussion about, this is just a fad. This is just, this isn't going anywhere. And now look at it.
I was one time at an event at the Falcon Field Airport in Mesa, and I had all Model S there as well, and then the hood and the trunk open.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy in front of the car, and he said, "This car is never driving because there's no engine in this car." He was in front of that, an old
Right.
guy, about 70 or 80 years. And I said, "Hey, dude, how do you think I got here? Hovering or flying?" So, and yeah, that was funny. So there was a lot of doubt in the beginning, yes.
Yeah, very much so. So what EVs have you owned? We talked about the early one, the non-Tesla.
The Roadster first. Now, I almost converted this this car, the Southern Sky, the 2-seater, in electric. So I called the company and said, "Hey guys, can you convert that car to me? I'll bring it to you over Christmas, and then tell me when should I pick it up again." "We cannot tell you." I said, "Why?" "So yeah, it takes a little longer or less longer, or yeah, it's just you have to have the schedule, right? You install the batteries, you install the drivetrain with the motors, and then you're ready, right?" "No, we can't tell you." And I said, "What generation of motors you have?" "Oh, this is already the 6th generation of motors." I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be the biggest guinea pig for them," and said, "No, I'm gonna buy Roadster then instead."
Right.
So, and actually I took the Roadster, and then this car, the first one, the EV that what I tried to convert to an EV, the Southern Sky, I sold it in the original position.
Did you?
So, and how naive was I? Because I said, if they guys figure out that these cars are much cheaper, less maintenance, all of that, I can't sell my fuel cars anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not happening, right? So I immediately sold that the two-seater there. It easily sold, right? So, and then we had still a Mercedes there, and he went always on my nerve there. And I said, hey, I need an EV. And then later we got invited. After that event, we got invited for the first factory visit in Fremont, California. The factory was not even there, just the big press was in there, but there was no factory floor, nothing was there. But we invited there, and when the first time we saw there the Model S, it was the engineering version of that Model S. And it was the front of that Model S on the engineering version was a mixture between the nose cone and the current one. It was just in between there. It looked really good. I still have some pictures from that. I make another video on my YouTube channel, Tesla Owners US, in English on that one. So you can check that. I will do another video for that. But at that time, we saw that car, and my wife's birthday was just a month later. And I said, this is going to be your birthday present, this car. And then it was her birthday present, her Christmas present, her birthday
For years,
present.
yeah.
and almost her Christmas present again, because it turned in 1.5 years until we got the car. And then, but it's still driving. We just changed the front to a new front design.
Is yours autographed by Elon?
Mine is autographed by Elon. Yes, he was sitting in the car and he asked, where should I sign? And we gave him a fountain pen and said, here on the dash. And then he scribbled his signature there. And we said, thank you very much. Just wait a second, a picture. We did a picture of that. And now we cannot sell that car anymore because just the signature is too much worse with the car with that signature. Maybe on that car show here, you want to sell the car as a
Barrett Jackson,
Barrett Jackson car show, sell it as a collectible. That could be a possibility. Yeah.
So did anybody have any heartache about the purple color that Martina chose for the interior?
Yes, Franz
Franz von Holzhausen.
Franz von Holzhausen, he said he didn't like the purple, but he liked because we also had the first headliner ever in black.
Oh,
right? It was with Alcantara headliner in black, and we insisted to have that headliner in black. Right? And then we had this car on many, many shows, and then the people told us that, oh, where did you get the headliner from? And we said, from factory. So then they went on their nerves and said, oh, we want to have a black headliner, not that stupid beige one. So, and then went on their nerves. Now, black headliner is a standard.
The standard option.
It's a standard option. It turned from a single one as a standard option. I'm happy that they adopted a better taste.
Now, you and Martina are both vegans. Isn't there
Yeah.
something about the seats too that you mandated that
That was
created?
for the other one, for the next one.
Okay.
For my Snow Tiger, we call it Snow Tiger, right? So and they made jokes about that because when he converted this with in West Hollywood, there were the white seats, and it was the first Tesla with the white seats and red stripes in it. The super white seats, right? The bright white seats, the super white seats.
the kind you can't have kids
Yeah,
with.
yes. And that was in Alcantara and not in the vegan leather, but it was vegan white Alcantara, right?
Right.
So, but it's kind of that sway, right? And then I sent the leather material of the leather seats to Franz in a box and said, hey, Franz, you can do it. My grandma always said that there is no I can't, there's always a I can do it. There's no I can't.
There's no
There's
impossible.
no I can't, there's only I don't want to.
Right.
That's what she said. And you can do it. And then Franz, my grandma said it. I sent a letter to him, you can do it.
So did you convince him?
No. Do you see the colors now? The interior colors?
Yeah, yeah.
Black or white?
Yeah.
And it's a bright white.
Right.
Right? Because it looks awesome, pretty, right?
Right.
So if they copy, I don't mind. So copy the good thing, copy the good seats. Let me see that, right?
So you also had a Model X, right? Or still have?
We still have the Model S.
Okay.
Model X in white seats also, right? So they're changing more and more. And we also did, with the Model X, we did all the chrome deletes, right?
Right,
And now
okay.
the standard cars all come in chrome delete. So there's no chrome on the car anymore. So the cars are adapting to our taste year by year.
It sounds like you need to join their design team, and Franz should probably commission you, or, you know.
I just give him some advice and that's all. That's okay.
And he likes it, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we are all the early adapters and we had our cars there on shows.
Yeah.
And then one time I decided, even that is not enough. And the best thing is, like you do or I do now, also I do, open a YouTube channel. You have to show the people that electric car driving is the ultimate, right? Because that is direct energy going into your car and consuming it, and there is less waste, and there is almost less maintenance. There's a little bit of maintenance, and the Roadster has a little bit more maintenance, right? But,
These days, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, as they age.
As they age, right? But all of the other cars, Martina's car also. One time I had her brake calipers also changed in purple, right? And at that time I said, if you have the brake calipers taken out, so just put new brake pads in. And they were only 60% off on the front, and 60% remaining on the front, 80% remaining on the back. And I said, I don't care, I just change it out. One day I have to do it, but still I haven't do it. It's 145,000 miles on the Model S, still driving, right?
So I must point out, we're
Yeah.
both YouTubers, and
Yes.
I really didn't warm up to any of this initially. I'm
Yeah.
an old school call center, take product to market, direct
Yes.
mail,
Yeah.
CRMs, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And social media has always kind of confused me. But Rolf used to come out and do videos at Gruber Motor Company in
Yes.
the early days, even with the old buildings
And
we had.
OV as well.
From
right?
Germany, yes.
From Germany,
yeah.
right?
And I
So-
would watch these guys doing these videos and kind of chuckle and say, yeah, whatever, right? It's just
Yeah.
it's gonna be kids that are watching it.
Yeah.
And you know what we learned is that our customers are on these channels. Our customers love our videos.
Yes.
They love this content. And of course, anything that promotes renewable energy.
Yeah, and they like technical content a little bit. They like maybe not too technical, but they like technical content and like how is it done,
Yeah.
right? You have to be a little bit nosy about it, right?
Yeah.
And they like that, and they always are telling me, show me more from Gruber. And maybe after this call, I'm gonna ask you some questions, so showing you more, asking more of Gruber, so we do another tour around Gruber Motors.
Sure.
maybe.
Well, what we're able to provide is a glimpse into a process that is
Yes.
normally not visible to the public.
Yeah.
Because of large companies, because of insurance reasons, they can't just have camera people walking around the repair areas,
Yes.
taking videos of people working on Tesla Roadsters or the other
Yeah.
platforms. So what our people enjoy is getting that inside glimpse.
Yes.
And the other part of it is the reverse engineering. Again, Tesla isn't going to let camera people into the places where intellectual property is being generated and is visible.
Yes.
We have a laboratory over there, electronics lab, and we enjoy showing people what it takes to keep these cars running. And the dichotomy between what used to be considered a car, a mechanical monstrosity, versus what they are today, computers on wheels basically, with a little bit of low-tech auto sprinkled in. But the majority of the repairs end up being electronics, things that people had never associated cars with.
And I can tell you just a recent story. My Model X, the lights for the opening of the charge port were not working anymore, right? So, and then I said, guys, I think the lights are not working anymore, that maybe the light ring is not as defect. It happened with the Roadster as well, right? So, and can you fix that? So they gave me a quote about $1,000 fix. And I said, no, that cannot be. You know what? If you give me a quote of $1,000, what we should do is give me just that the assembly there. I have it someone else install it, and I know who can install it, right? So I have it someone else install it, and then they said, oh, you know what? Let's send out a technician by you. So and we're gonna check it out. It's only half an hour, $87. And I said, okay, let's try. So he came out there, and what he found out that the charge door had to be readjusted. Because it was on a like windshield wipers on a different position. That was the charge door on a different position, and you have to readjust it on a computer, the charge door. And when he did that, then when how I had it before, the charge door was in a condition like it was thinking it is closed, so that the lights goes off. Right, and the charge door here readjusted that and said, oh, look at this, he's readjusted, and now the lights are coming on again, right? And it was only an $87. I like the things to repair and not to exchange parts. So, because if you're living a sustainable life, what I'm supporting there, then you should repair things if there's a possibility to do that, right?
Repair, yeah. You know, with the Tesla Roadster, it's funny you mentioned a charge port door. So much of the Tesla Roadster, the first generation Teslas, the parts are no longer being made. So the charge port door on a Tesla Roadster also has a problem, and it has to do with water ingress. The design isn't very elegant, and what happens is the water runs down, gets behind the door, and then pools inside a container that has a circuit board where the plug goes into the charge ring, which illuminates the charge port for the various colors, you know, blue for start, amber for charging, red for problems, and all that. Well, necessity is the mother of invention. So again, reverse engineering. These parts aren't available. I can't go to Tesla and say, I need a charge port door assembly. You know? So we found out that these things get corroded, and you can repair them. We found the chips, we found the components, we found the LEDs, and we actually rebuild this charge port door now, or charge port assembly.
That's how it needs to be done.
We then also impregnate it with a silicone so that the water can't get in there anymore. But I'm curious what will happen to the other platform vehicles. The Model S is beginning to go in that direction now. You know, the ones that are out of warranty, for example.
For example, I gave you recently that the heater. The heater assembly?
The PTC heater.
The PTC heater?
Right.
Same way. It was water coming into the PTC heater, and then there was corrosion on the board, and then out. PTC heater was out.
Fortunately, much of this is repairable.
Yes.
So when the parts finally dry up like they did on the Roadster, there just aren't any more in certain categories. There are companies that will be able to continue to keep those functioning by repairing them.
Good.
So it looks like we're coming to the end of our podcast here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You would probably want to promote your YouTube channel at this point. Tell the viewers where to reach you.
So I have a YouTube channel in English and in German, and it's Tesla Owners US, basically YouTube/C like Charlie /Tesla Owners US, all in one word. And there you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do everything about sustainable living, basically. So from the electric cars, but I have 4 of them, including my inverters for the voltaic system. I have 68 panels on my property, and I have 5 power walls. So I could be independent. If the power ever goes out, I wouldn't care.
You could probably be a utility in your neighborhood.
Yes,
based on the amount of power you're generating.
The power what I have. If my Teslas would be bi-directional, I could probably supply the whole neighborhood with this. So there was one time the transformer went out in my neighborhood, and I didn't even notice that. Switched immediately to power. And then I went out and said, why is it so dark here? And then I went to my neighbors and said, oh, guys, you don't have power. How's it happening? Should I throw a cable over your wall so that you run your refrigerator and the stuff doesn't get bad in your refrigerator? So my jokes, So, and no, and I report about that. I report about driving with the Model X. and an RV trailer. So I might do a project with an RV trailer and an additional electric propulsion. So because currently when you pull that trailer, the range drops significantly. But I would like to have it is a 2-axle trailer. On one axle is the brake. I would like to have on the other axle actually a little propulsion system on it, so that I can easier and get a longer range on the car.
Yeah, generate some power.
Yeah.
Well, good luck on your event in Germany on the
Yeah.
e-Cannonball Run.
Thank
Hope you
you.
win.
Yeah.
And for those of you that want to watch, we've got the link. We'll probably post that.
Yeah.
So you can see where that is. Would like to thank Rolf for joining us for this podcast. And make sure that you watch our YouTube channels, both of ours. And the staff here wants me to remind you, too, don't forget to smash the like button, turn on that
Yes.
notification bell, and check
Bing,
out
bing, bing.
check out our Instagram and TikTok at Gruber Motor Company. Again, our job is to keep you informed with EV and Tesla, and we will have many more guests like Rolf. We appreciate you joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And maybe we come again. There are so many stories to tell.
Oh, there are many more, yeah.
Or many more about EVs and about. I one time drove for kids, for cruise for kids.
Yeah.
With my Roadster in Santa Monica and in San Diego.
In San
So I
Diego,
drove
okay.
with the Roadster to San Diego, which was a day tour to San Diego, basically, with the Roadster at that time. And then all of those hard Ferraris
I
turned. and
can
so on.
tell you have lots more stories.
Yeah,
We're going to
that's
have you
always-
come again. You're
that
going to
is
be a guest
something
again.
for another
for
story,
sure. Yeah.
for another one when I come again.
But thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the
And thank you.
invitation. Yeah.